Welcome back. Overcoming everything from shortage of ingredients to police raids on her own home in communist Cuba, Rosa Porto was determined to keep baking to support her family. Even after their move to the United States, Rosa's passion for pastries only continued to grow stronger and stronger. Betty, thinking back to when you first came to the United States, here you have moved, your mother moved her whole family to the land of opportunity. Mm-hmm. She could have done a million things. Why did she stick with the bakery business?
It's funny, you know, my dad, of course, became he joined the workforce working for Bandicamps, of all places. And he would try to convince her, but, you know, she's a very stubborn woman. And she didn't want to work for anybody else. She wanted to be self-employed. She wanted to have her own place, and she worked on my dad, you know, day in and day out. He wanted her to get a regular job so she would have insurance and all the benefits of working for somebody else. Wow. She knew that that was easier.
Why do you think she was so persistent?
Because she has a passion for what she does. She knew that what she did was good, and she just didn't want to do anything else. You know, she's one of those people that wants to do what she wants to do. And, you know, at the end it paid off, you know, her
it really did
stubbornness,
pay off.
yes.
It really did pay off.
Yes.
I'm just so excited for your family and your success, Betty. When you opened a store, your first store you had mentioned earlier was on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles.
Sunset and Silver Lake.
Tell us a little bit about the process of actually getting there to actually opening this first store.
You know, my dad and her were driving, and she saw it, and she said, that's the place that I want to open.
She followed her intuition.
That's the place that I want to open, and now we just have to get the money in.
And did everyone support this decision?
Yes. I mean, we were kids. We just, whatever they decided. Yeah. By the time that my father had realized that he couldn't change her mind.
Because let's give everyone the clear picture here. There was no room in the home anymore.
No.
How many cars were coming to your house a day to pick up cakes?
I mean, she had basically appointments that people would come in every day. She had appointments, and then on the weekend, which, you know, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, she never slept. She worked 24 hours baking in a home oven. All night long.
7 days a week?
You know, 7 days a week she would take orders.
When did she sleep, for God's sakes?
7 days a week she took orders. And then on the weekends when she did the hard work. And I remember going to the movies with my friends, coming back. And I didn't realize it at the time, but my mom was still up, and I would get up in the morning, and she was still up. I never questioned the fact. And now I understand. But
dedication. That's
back
dedication.
In the days, I had no clue how hard she was working.
So did your family have to get a loan to open this first store?
Yes, that was the funny part, because, you know, we had no clue. She had no language.
She didn't even speak English?
No, not at all. We did all the talking, all the translation. Yeah. And so we went to banks, and she wanted to borrow $10,000, and I told her, you need collateral. And she would tell him, you know, if I had $10,000, you wouldn't see me here, because I'll be too embarrassed to be borrowing the money to begin with. But we found a friend, somebody who knew us from Cuba, and, you know, he knew what a hard worker my mother was, and he also knew the quality of her stuff, and he just took a chance on us.
Wow.
And that's how we got the loan.
So the first store on Sunset Boulevard, we actually have a clip, actually, of some photos from that first store.
When we first opened, yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And now, how many employees were in that first store?
Well, there was no employees. It was my mother, full-time. My dad, when he came out of Bandicamp at 1 or 2 in the morning, coming to help. And my sister, my brother, and I, out of school to the bakery. We had dinner at the bakery because my mother cooked in the bakery while she was baking, and she cooked for us and friends also. So every day we had dinner there. And for us, it was just, you know, for the kids, it was a party. I mean, we had friends that came over, and sometimes she would step out to the house for a second, and we would burn pastries and throw them in the trash, and she wouldn't even know. So it wasn't like we were all serious about it. We were kids. We were, you know, 16, 15 kids.
Now, today your operation has grown enormously, and again, we do actually have some more clips of some behind-the-scenes footage, Betty, from your employees and all the work that you do. Betty, how many employees do you have today working?
We have like 425 to 430
Now, is that
employees.
Overall, or just at the Glendale location?
No, between the Burbank and the Glendale location, which is a lot of people, because we do a lot of stuff by hand still. You know, it's art. You know, you create things by hand. It's not a factory.
Yeah.
It's not something that you know, like Bandicamp, where my father used to work. This is different.
Is the operation, is it 24/7 still?
The bakery's open 7 days a week to the customers, but behind the scenes, we're open 24 hours a day. Because once, you know, the 8 o'clock people leave at night, the cleaning crew comes in, and by 1 o'clock, there's flour all over the place. So it doesn't stop. It's 24 hours operation.
Wow, and again, for those who haven't actually been into the store, it's packed on weekdays. I have to tell you, weekends, excuse me, I have to tell you, one of the first places I was introduced to when I moved to Los Angeles 10 years ago was Porto's Bakery. And I always thought to myself, who are these people behind this operation? So to have you here is really just a true joy for me personally, because I find it amazing the successes that you have created. What do you think has been the secret to this following? I mean, you've got an amazing following.
Again, you know, my mother's passion. I mean, everything is done, you know, to what she established. I mean, we don't change ingredients. We don't, you know, when milk and butter go up in the summertime, we don't raise prices and we don't compromise, you know. My brother's very aggressive when it comes to buying stuff. We want this butter or this chocolate and we get it. We don't compromise and say, okay, now we're gonna use this one because it's a little cheaper. We don't do that. We get what we want. And he's very, you know, he has a lot of people that he buys from, but that's his passion, you know, being able to get what he needs, because we don't want to ever compromise on the taste, because our customers are very educated. They've been following us for 30 years, and they can tell when you're changing something. Sometimes we change things for the better, and if they don't like it, they let us know right away. You know, we liked the old custard better than the new one, and then we stick to what they like. You know, they're really the bosses of what we do. So whatever they want is what we keep, you know.
And you still manage to keep your prices low, and everyone keeps coming back.
Right. I mean, and that's helped us a lot with this economy. You know, we always knew that we were a family-owned restaurant, and we were, our people were a regular family, and they needed the breaks. So we stuck to that.
Well, Betty, we're going to talk just a little bit more about the economy, and also we're going to get Betty's advice to other entrepreneurs. And remember, we are still taking your live questions at wakeuptv.com. We will be back in just a moment.